Hi everyone, I'm Hani and welcome to another video. So, today I'm going to talk about the struggle of living abroad. Actually, I prefer to call it as challenges instead of struggle, as that's how I deal with it. So I've been living in France for 3 years now. I used to live in Singapore for a year before moving to France. Technically, I've been living abroad for 4 years now. So the common response I always get whenever I told someone that I live abroad was, "Wow, that's so nice. You're living a dream. It's like a dream come true. You're so lucky." Well, after experiencing the life abroad, I can say the grass is not always greener on the other side, and there's not always rainbows and butterfly here. So, before I start, I want to say that I made this video not to condemn or criticize anyone or anything. I just want to share and talk about what I went through, as I don't really have anyone to talk about it. So I'm going to let it all out here. So the first challenges is getting used to a new system. So in order to settle down here, there's a lot of things to take care of after arriving here. But when you don't know anything about how the system works, it can be frustrating, because you have no one to turn to, you have no idea what to do, where to go, and there is people who keep giving you a bunch of different information. At the end of the day, you end up lost and frustrated. And another thing is, in France, they take a long time to process things like documents, application, and so on. Coming from somewhere you get all those done in an hour or two can be really hard to get used to. So, number two, adapting to a whole new culture. So, experiencing a culture while traveling and actually living there is a totally different thing. Instead of experiencing the culture, you have to adapt to it. While you are used to a culture, the culture that you grow up with, exposing yourself to a whole new culture is definitely not easy. So you need to adapt and learn new things like how to greet someone, basic manners, ethic, and so on, as you will be using it on daily basis. Sometimes you just did or say something that you consider normal, but to them it can turn out as something offending or rude. So that is always my concern whenever I interact with people here. Number three, language barrier. So when you don't speak or understand the language, there will be a huge barrier on your social life. So basically, you cannot go out alone without someone who speaks the language accompanying you, because you will not you will have problem with the transport. You don't know where to go, you cannot read the signboard, and you cannot ask someone if you are lost or if you need something. So it can be troublesome. And then another thing is, even though now I speak and understand the language, I still feel the language barrier, because when I'm with a group of people, like 5 or 6 people, when they talk at the same time, I can't really understand what's going on, because for me, I need to listen really carefully of what they are talking about, so I can really understand what they really meant. But if 5 or 6 different people talking at the same time, I don't know which person to listen to, so I end up lost in the conversation. And then if they speak too fast. It's really hard for me to understand. And when they use the short form or something in accent or anything, there is still a huge barrier, even though I speak French for 3 years now. So the language is always one of the biggest struggle. And number 5, is it number 5? No, I think it's number 4. Number 4, working opportunity. So there will be a limited working opportunity for you if you don't speak the language. So here in Europe, they prefer to hire European because the European does not require any visa to work or live here because of their right of free movement in European country. So you have to compete with them in order to score a job, which is hard because there's a lot of them here. So getting a job might be a challenge for you. So number 5 is lifestyle and environment in general. So when I was living in Malaysia, I love to go out a lot after work just to meet up with some friends, hang out, shopping, and doing bunch of things because everything is open until late, and some even open 24 hour. So even on working days, I still have time to enjoy doing other things. But here, most places close around 7 or 8 p.m. So you don't have much option on where to go and things to do after this hour. And majority of the places close on Sunday and public holidays. So even if you have your day off, you can't really do much and end up spending it at home in the couch. So this is definitely something I cannot get used to because coming from a city, I enjoy the vibrant and lively environment, but here it's different. So I miss the lifestyle I used to have, and I need to adapt to my life to this kind of lifestyle now. So it's quite hard actually. And number 6, loneliness. I think this is the biggest struggle I have while living abroad because I'm away from family, from friends, and it's hard to keep in touch due to time differences and not having to meet each other, missing out important events, and then in the end you end up drifting away as time goes by. And finding new friends might be good, but it's really hard to find someone you can really open up to and relate to. Here, someone that can understand what you went through and stuff. And another thing is the culture and different mindset make it hard for you to get along. I mean, like you can have a great time together, but to share your something private or to share your difficulty is not really easy. So at one point, the loneliness can get to you, and you will be left wondering if you did the right thing moving here. So number 7 is about food. Being a foodie, I have to include this one. So don't get me wrong, I love French food, but after living here and eating mostly every day, I found most of the food is a bit too bland for me, as I'm used to the strong flavor of Asian food. Being from Malaysia, a multiracial country, we have a various type of food from Malay, Chinese, Indian, the mix of everything, and it's really hard to find a good Asian restaurant here that serve the taste that I miss. Because most of the Asian restaurants here tone down the strong flavor and keep it mild to suit the European taste, because they can't really tolerate this, the spiciness and the strong flavor that usually is in Asian food. So if I'm craving for something, I have no choice but to cook it myself. It's not easy to find the ingredients, but I pack a good amount of spices and dried ingredients every time I went back home. Like I have like half of my luggage full of food. And as for the other ingredients, like the fresh ingredient, I will try to find it in the Asian grocery shop. But if I couldn't find it, I have to improvise and use whatever I have, something with a similar taste. So that's how I get by day, I guess. Before moving here, I only know how to cook some simple dish, but now I feel like I can write a recipe book already. Seriously. And then the last but not least, weather. So, coming from a tropical country that is hot all year round, I always dream of living in a country with four seasons, where I can dress up with those thick furry coats, long leather boots, change the style every season, running around in the snow. But now that I am living in a country with four seasons, I it's in quite like a fairy tale, I imagine. I get uh I get cold very easily, as I'm not used to cold weather. The winter is just too extreme for me, to the point that I don't feel like going out. I just want to stay home and be warm. I kind of miss the sunshine and the warm feeling that it gave now that it's winter. I guess there's always pro and con.